Buenos Dias Gunners Collective, back at it like a smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeed, we're going to talk about the true story. We're going to talk about what really happened on Pleasant Valley State Prison Yard, to one Mr. Honore Brown, also known as the rapper Xraided, the Sacramento, right? And the reason I want to speak on this, and I know it's been out there for a minute, but I actually have an interview right here, an exclusive interview with one author from the writers that was actually involved in the melee, involved in the assault, the hit on X-Rated, right? So no one's gonna bring you exclusive like the gun brings you exclusive of someone that was actually involved in the incident that could give you the real story behind it and what happened. So without further ado, let me introduce one Mr. Cisco de Modesto. What's happening, brother?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Oh, just trying to live. Hey, so trip out, man. Let's talk some history. Let's talk some background. So you're right there on this yard in Pleasant Valley with X-Rated. What were your dealings with them, bro? Did you know him like that, or what was going on?
Okay, so I arrived from a level 3 in Ironwood in 2009. I got there, and then I had got off on somebody, so my points bumped up to a level 4. So I was on a one-way trip to Pleasant Valley. I got there around December 22nd of 2009. And as soon as I got off orientation, I put in my bid to go work in the get a job in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I got my job in the kitchen, and one of my boys introduced me to X-Rated, and I was like dumbfounded because us from Northern Cali, we all grew up on his music. So I was borderline a little bit starstruck, made a little introduction to him and whatnot. How you doing? And after that, we just kept it pushing. So we worked with each other in the kitchen from about January all the way up until March.
Okay.
And in that time of working in that kitchen, I got like in two incidents with two blacks, and I was going to catch a fatal, and my ex was like the guy in the middle, like, hey, Cisco, you know what I mean? Will you give my guy a fair one? I'm like, yeah, it's all good. And they didn't want it with me because I had tipped two of them up, and they're like, damn. So my boys are like, you need to calm down, fight in that kitchen. So as X-Rated tried to intervene and back up the blacks in there, me and him built a bond after that, and we would work out together in the kitchen and things of that nature. And a lot of people would try to get him to bust out his own music, but he wasn't into his old music. He was into all his new music. So after building a bond with me, I had this cup that I had brought from Ironwood, and I had a Shark City sticker on it. So from there, because I'm originally from San Jose, but I reside in Modesto, right?
Yeah.
But from that sticker, it says Shark City. So after that, he started calling me, hey, Shark City. He started to get close to me, and he seen that, you know what I mean? That I actually, was digging his dick down, not on no groupie shit, but out of respect, and he started bringing me pictures. He showed me pictures of Sibo, Brother Lynch, and showed me pictures of his wife, and all the stuff he's got going out there. He even talked to me about how Brother Lynch did his style in rapping, and he was pretty much mad at his own folks because they probably didn't show him no more love. So in due time, we built that bond, bro. And the bond got so good that he knew what I was. He knew I was a full fledged Northern Rider at the time. And he just felt that he being a little older and seasoned. He just seized the opportunity and got up in my eardrum, like some earwax, and was like, "Hey, homie, we hella cool, Shark City, but there's a situation at hand." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" He had a fat ass. He had one of the fattest chains on the yard, bro. Dude was balling and shit. He had a few CDs out at the time, but they weren't all that. And so he just discussed with me. Hey, there's this dude named Flo, Mike and Amigo, bro. He's giving me problems, and I don't like the dude. And I'm like, fuck, I don't even know who he is. He's like, yeah, I don't know if he's one of your folks or not. So I'm like, well, what is it that you're asking me? He's like, look, dude, I want this dude off the yard. He's a weirdo, bro. He's a stalker, and he used to be my celly. He wanted to do some music shit. Homeboy didn't fit the criteria because his rapping skills were garbage. He produced one of my CDs, but as far as his rapping style goes, the dude sucks. And I'm like, damn, I don't even know who this cat is. Let me go look into it. So as soon as I look into it, he set up with a stranger from Modesto who's no longer part of us, but at the time was his name rang a little bells. He kind of carried a leadership role at the time, but I know Stranger from out in Modesto from when I was 16 years old. Fast forward, I'm at 23 at the time, so like me and Stranger actually got to see each other again, and we caught up and shit. But I didn't know that that guy Mike and Amigo was a celly. So regardless of anything, I did my homework, found out this dude wasn't a writer. So when X-Raided's like, I want this dude off the yard, mind you, I'm not gonna go pick up a shank or a razor and fucking just go, you know, viciously attack this guy. You know, my mindset was like, shit, I'll just put tips on this cat. You know what I mean? If I gotta do it my goddamn self, I'll do it. You know, but you know, usually a homeboy will always rock with you. So I had the homeboy G from Madera. He worked in the gym, the level 3. I was a level 4, and the buildings 1 through 5 are the level 4, and then the gym are level 3. So when they have yard, level 3 and 4s could actually go out to yard together. You know what I mean? So I try to get this voting process to get this fucking dude, Mike Enemigo, smashed, because it takes a voting process and the majority rules. You know, so and I said my bones in place, and I told G, hey, go out the homies in the gym. Let's get this voting process up and going, bro. We're gonna smash this dude, because I told G, you want to make some money? He's like, yeah. And when Xraided is offering me this transaction, I see his fat chain and shit, and I see this opportunity, you know, and I have kids back home, you know, and I kind of left them when they were babies, so I kind of seen the opportunity to try to jump on some money, because I knew the dude was breaded out. But at that time, there was never an exact amount fucking, you know, brought up. It was just like, hey, bro, I'll take care of you. He's like, just get this dude off the yard, bro, and I promise you, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, whatever. So I got the voting process up and going and shit. And word surfaced around to some of the fellas that had a good relationship with Mike and Amigo. You know, one being a boxer from Sacra, fucking my boy Johnny Boy from Santa Rosa. And they were cool, Mike and Amigo. I didn't know this fucking schmuck, bro. I personally didn't give a fuck. I know he wasn't a rider. I'm like, fuck it, we'll just dust this fool out, catch this 115, and tell this motherfucker to do a moving off the yard straight up. So Johnny Boy approaches me, hey, Cisco, is it true that fucking did X-Rated approach you with a deal to fucking smash Mike and Amigo? I'm like, fuck yeah, homie, I got the votes up in the works right now, bro. He's like, yeah, that's what I want to talk to you about, bro. You can't do that, because, you know, Mike and Amigo, he happens to be a friend of Snoop's and shit, and he sold him up a stranger. You know, I said, is he a compa? He's like, nah, he's not a compa. I go, then who gives a fuck, bro? If he ain't a compa, that nigga's got to do a movie, bro. I'm trying to make this dough real quick, you know? Johnny Boy's like, nah, fool, a couple of homeboys like this dude, eh, with you. I said, all right, bro. You know what I mean? He's like, don't go repeating this shit. Don't say this shit no more. Put a cease to it. And I'm fresh to that yard, you know? There's about 30 of us, 35 of us, bro. And I'm like, personally, I don't give a fuck, bro. Fuck this dude, Mike and Amigo. So word gets to Stranger, you know what I mean? And then being that me and Stranger got a good relationship from we were teenagers and shit. You know, I'm on the yard getting my hair braided by the homeboy Disco from Oak Park, North Daniels and shit. And he ain't a rider, but, you know what I mean? I always like to get my hair twisted up in cornrows, because that yard be rocking. Everybody getting in physical altercations. And what was fucked up about that yard is if you get them up on a one-on-one, the COs will sit there and let a motherfucker fight until he gets winded and the dude can't even swing no more. Like, oh, come on. Just, you know, they would beg for the COs to start throwing bombs and spray them. Now the COs are like, nah, you want to fuck around? Just go ahead. So I'm like, oh, I see what kind of yard this is. So I had long hair, so I like to get my shit in cornrows, and the event a motherfucker try to test nuts, I ain't trying to get my hair pulled on, you know. So my boy Disco's twisting my hair up, and then Stranger approaches me, and he's like, hey, Cisco, let me holler at you. And I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, hey, is it true that fucking X-Raided's trying to get you to fucking smash my celly and shit? I go, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Stranger. Homeboy ain't a fucking compa, bro. Who gives a fuck, bro? He's like, nah, you can't do that, Cisco. He's a good friend of ours. I said, I don't give a fuck, bro. He's not a compa. You know what I'm saying? I want to push forward with smashing this fool, bro. He's like, nah, Cisco, please just let it go, bro. I'm like, I'm kind of frustrated, right? Because I wanted to make some money. So I'm like, all right, bro, I'll leave it alone, Stranger. You know? So within a 2-week period, you know, X-Rated started to come out and get more sociable with the crowd out there, you know, and that's not his mingo, you know. He's not a social butterfly, you know. He prefers to be, you know, solo, doing his own little thing. So fucking so as soon as the compa started to see that he's starting to wiggle and be more social with the public, you know what I mean? Mike and Amigo is in the cell, not even knowing what's being discussed about him. So Stranger's like, hey, bro, you know, this is what's at hand. So Mike and Amigo gets kind of mad that Stranger brought to his attention that one of the compas are trying to move on him. So Mike and Amigo's like, what the fuck? How can they do this to me? Who the fuck is it? And Stranger's like, I can't tell you that, bro. Just know that fucking X-Raided's trying to make his move, bro, and get you off the fucking yard. And that's not the first time, bro. There was a time before that, about a year prior, that X-Rated has tried to do that with this weirdo Mike and Amigo. And Mike and Amigo goes by Foe as well, just so you know. Mike and Amigo, aka Foe, but he's well known in the penitentiary system as Mike and Amigo. And so Mike and Amigo, he sees the X-Rated trying to do it, so he takes it upon himself, like, hey, we got to do something. Mind you, I'm not even knowing if all this shit's transpiring, you know? And so it was March 19th, and we come out to yard, bro. Nothing was fucking premeditated or any of that shit. Whatever happened with Stranger, Mike and Amigo in that cell, as far as them trying to collaborate, plot, and scheme, that was on them. I didn't know about it. So I come out March 19th, and I haven't even met Mike and Amigo yet. So I go out of yard March 19th and shit in fucking 2010. Go out to yard, typical day. And then I was approached by a stranger, hey, Cisco, you know what I mean? We're going to fucking get on Xraided, bro. We're going to stab him and whoop-de-whoop-whoop. I'm like, is that right? He's like, hey, here's a shank, bro. Fucking, we want you to participate. I'm like, fuck no, nigga. I'm good off that shit. He's like, huh? I was like, hell yeah, nigga, because as far as being a compa, you can turn that shit down, bro. It's not mandatory that you got to jump and do this because the next man says. That's not how we operate. So I told him, nah, I'm good, my nigga. I go, it's just Xraided, right? He's like, yeah. I go, what the fuck's wrong with that fool's fucking fighting skills and shit? Why don't that nigga Mike and Amigo get down? It's his shit on the line, bro. And Stranger goes, you don't like him? I'm like, fuck no, nigga. I go, that nigga should go handle that shit himself, bro, personally. And Stranger's like, nah, I'm gonna assist them and whoop-de-whoop-boom. I'm like, well, nigga, I'm turning that shank down, bro. Get that shit away from me. So Stranger gets kind of mad. He's like, oh, fool, I would have thought you'd have been one to rock. I said, bro, there's only one of him, bro. It's two of you. What the fuck? Miss me with that shit. So they proceeded with their little plan, and Xraided was over there kicking at the table with about 4 or 5 blacks. And we're at the pull-up bars, and the homies are conversing about it. I already had my mind made up, like, fuck this dude. Hey, Mike and Amigo's a pussy. So Mike and Amigo approached me, what's up? Hey, you Cisco? I looked at him up and down, like, yeah, well, what's up? What's up, Mike and Amigo, bro, from Sac? I was like, what's up, homie? He's me-mugging this shit. And I'm like, who is this guy, bro? I'm about to slap the shit out this fool, right? And he was like, all right, homie. And he's staring at me up and down. I'm looking at this dude like, are you serious right now, bro? You're a coward, you know? And so I just looked at him up and down like, nigga, miss me. So they put their little plan into play. And the Copa Johnny Boy decided to step up to the plate, you know what I mean? And what I was supposed to do. So Johnny Boy from Santa Rosa, he's with the shit too, you know? He stepped up to the plate like, all right. So them three decided to go rush and shit. And they rushed that table, bro, and all those blacks, they were with Xraided, they have no clue, bro. You know what I mean? They're just there, and wrong place, wrong time. So when they started attacking Xraided, Stranger started blasting them and shit, you know. And he was hitting them with the metal piece from the baseball diamonds that you put in the floor, a little piece of flat.
Yeah.
So he attempted to start stabbing Xraided, and Mike and Amigo, scary ass, just ran behind Xraided and sliced him one time on his shoulder. And then he ran away, stashed the razor, and all hell's breaking loose. And Rowdy from Madera decided to assist, and he wasn't even a rider, you know. And shout outs to Rowdy for that. And he had surgery done on his ankle, but Rowdy still, you know, he still jumped in the mix with like a 6'2" Africano, and they're getting it. And I'm laid out in the grass, you know. So when I see Rowdy get dropped, you know, he got kind of stung. I jumped up, homie, and I ran from the soccer field to the basketball court to assist Rowdy. And we started, that's where you see me in the video with my cornrows, and me and Rowdy just started mixtaping, old boy, you know. And the other blacks, they were just, you know, they were like chickens with their heads cut off. They weren't expecting this. And Xraided was far from a coward, bro. He was right there slinging it. He wasn't fucking sea walking, bro. You know, fuck no, he's fighting for his life. Adrenaline's kicking in, homeboy slinging back, and Stranger hit him with a deadly blow, bro. Hit him in his temple, and the shank bent. It was metal, but it bent on his skull, bro. Boom. So it hit like an artery where his shit started gushing out. So after everything's said and done, you know, COs intervene. They spray up, whoopty-whoop. By the time Xraided was on the ground and the CO put a shirt around his head, I'm like, I'm not even that far from him, bro. I'm like 10 feet away from him, and I'm staring at his eyes, and fucking his shit is gushing. The CO's like, oh my God, just stay with me, Brown. And homeboy's eyes were like fucking borderline rolling in the back of his head. I was tripping out. And right when we were pruned out, the helicopter was already in motion. That's all you hear, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? So they already had, right when that riot cracked off, it seemed as if the helicopter was already in motion, because how fast does a helicopter get to a prison that fast? So he
Yeah.
got metal flighted out and whatever, and after everything's said and done, they got those responsible, in the riot, and they put us riders in the parkour right there. It's a little gated thing on the yard where they got the bars and dips area, and right across from us is the chow hall, and then the level 3 gym. The level 3 gym got doors on the window, so after everything was said and done, Stranger, Mike and Amigo, Johnny Boy, and Rowdy, we're kind of like all sprayed up with pepper spray, right? Uh, uh, but I was visible. I was able to see the homeboys sign languaging us from the gym, the level 3 homies. And they're like, "Hey, what's up, homie? Is it good? Do we need to kick it off with these blacks in here?" And whoop de whoop whoop. And strangers all sprayed up like, "Hey, who's all in here with us? Who's in the parkour with us?" It was like, "It's me, 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 and me." Stranger, he's like, "Okay." Tell Stranger, "Hey, the homeboys want to kick it off in the gym, bro. What do you think?" He's like, "Nah, tell them those blacks ain't got nothing to do with it." But the tension's already thick in the air. You know what I mean? The blacks and the riders in the gym, they're all on eggshells and shit. So we told the homeboys, "Nah, stand down, bro. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with them." So they're like, "All right, we'll leave it alone." So they put all the Africanos in Building 1. We haven't even hit at SEG yet. Those they participated in the riot. They immediately put us in on the same yard, A yard, in one block, and they put about 5, 6 blacks in the shower, and they put us riders in the other shower. The blacks were in B section shower in one block, and we're in C section shower one block. So we're able to communicate with each other. And blacks were like, "Hey, Stranger, what was that all about?" Stranger was like, "Hey, bro, we didn't want you guys. You guys are just there. You guys were bystanders." It's like, "Come on, man. We don't want problems with you guys." We're like, "Hey, it's all good, bro. Wrong place, wrong time and shit." So a couple blacks were like, "Come on, bro. You guys didn't have to do a brother like that." We're like, "Hey, bro, business is business." You know what I mean? And we're in these showers for about 15, 20 minutes. And the COs are in their little office. They're doing all the write-ups or whatever. And the alarm goes off. And the gym cracked off too, bro, within an hour. So the gym had cracked off. They're going hella mania inside the gym, fucking each other up and whatever. So all hell broke loose that day.
Yeah,
So now they got.
that's a trip, bro. You know what? And I don't mean to cut you off, brother, because I mean facts are facts. But trip out on this. So Xraided, right, has always told a story. He's always told a story, a little bit of a different story,
Yeah.
something about that involves Stranger, and we're talking about Stranger from Modesto, one Terry Gonzalez, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, and he's talked about how Stranger had approached him to do some music, and he turned him down based on he discovered that Stranger was, basically a rat, which it all came to pass. It eventually came out that he had hit the officers up, for an interview to try to talk about an old murder that had happened in Modesto, and everyone knows that's a fact. Uh, is this the case? So this ain't the case. This what you're saying right here is the true story. This is what really happened.
Well, this is what happened when I had got there. So behind the curtains, whatever miscellaneous deals that Stranger and Mike and Amigo and X-Rated had to the side, that story I don't know about.
Okay, so
So
that could have been the case then.
yes, it absolutely could have. They because I was set up with Stranger in Pleasant Valley after that riot. You know what I mean? I was selling with a couple of homeboys, and Stranger happened to be one. But one ain't gonna say, "Hey, bro, we extorted them for music." I don't remember Stranger ever saying that, but I know that Mike and Amigo was sold up with X-Rated, and you could walk up in people's cells and kick it. And Mike and Amigo had a little studio. He had a keyboard. He had a fucking microphone and fucking that's what he used to record music. So mind you, X-Rated was on the level 3 in Pleasant Valley, and Mike and Amigo was on a level 4 writing them letters on some stalker shit, And so finally, when X-Rated hit the level 4, Mike and Amigo still insisting on wanting to meet this guy. He went so far as to, "Hey, bro, my music's tight. I got a studio in my cell, and I would
Okay.
love to sell up with you, bro. We're both from Sac." So that's how Mike and Amigo and X-Rated built their relationship off that studio alone. So X-Rated being in the music game, he seen dollar signs, because his music will go. You know what I mean? Like it did
Yeah.
before. It was a success. So that's why I believe X-Rated sold up with Mike and Amigo, simply for that, musical purposes. So Mike and Amigo, the story was said that Mike and Amigo was more on some groupie shit, and X-Rated would treat that fool bad in the cell, And so that was the reason for their falling out. So I believe Mike and Amigo held some animosity
Okay.
You know, and
Yeah, and obviously
what is
X-rated did too for wanting him removed off that yard. So whatever willings and dealings they had, okay. So like I said, man, there's three sides to every story. You know, their side, the other side, and the truth. But it all makes sense, bro. It all makes sense. So I wanted to clear up a misconception because a lot of people thought, okay, X-rated told or he said a little too much, and I got the video. I've seen the paperwork actually in real life, and he said what he said. He did say what
yeah.
he said. There's no denying it. Facts are facts. Paperwork is paperwork. He said that it was the writers basically who did this to him. Okay.
Well, even so with that statement, right? Who's to say that the CEOs didn't do that due to his celebrity? You know what I mean? Who's
Exactly.
to say that? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So X-rated, like I say, he held his own, bro. He was swinging with us. You know what I'm saying? He didn't fucking phone out and run. That nigga was right there chunking him with with my own so-called folks at the time. They were fucking trying to kill him, bro.
No
And he
doubt
said,
about that. Hey, no doubt about that, bro. Like I said, hey, I've seen instances where SEALs would do that. They would cross you up and
yeah,
take something out of context. So hey, no doubt about that. You always got to give someone the benefit of the doubt and due process. So trip
yeah,
out. I wanted to clear up another misconception because a lot of people think that X-Rated made this song later on called "The Telephone Game" and where he pretty much explained the whole story, and
yeah,
it pretty much coincides with what you said here about him handling his own and how Stranger from Modesto and whatever other individuals were in bad standings and were not good characters. Okay,
yeah,
and that's his perception of the thing, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not here to advocate for one side or the other. I'm here to advocate for the people. Um,
yeah.
I will say this though, that I have exclusive footage that I'm gonna put at the end of this video of X-Rated actually giving a shout out to one Mr. Badass Snoop, right?
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so for any misconceptions with the viewers that think that he holds some type of grudge against the writers, I think he only
Yeah,
holds grudges against these certain individuals that were involved, with this. Like as for you, you guys had your own personal relationship. Of course, you're put in a rock and a hard place where you see one of your homeboys, in harm's way. You have to do what you have to do. So I don't think he would,
yeah.
being a man and being you know, a, um, a real convict. You can't hold no grudge against that. Business is business, personal is personal.
Yeah.
But I will be putting that clip at the end of this, and I just wanted to clear up any misconception that he does still have love for Snoop and whatever his cause that he's
Oh,
pushing.
absolutely. And my story here is solely just to put out to public, that I'm not trying to glorify prison, bro, or glorify gangs, or make it seem like my fucking gang are some big. We ain't a gang, bro. We're a movement. Like to say we're big bad motherfucking wolves. And on the contrary, bro, my story is to simply put out to public is prison ain't cool, bro. To the youth out there hearing this story, prison is not cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could be kicking in one day. One of your homeboys might have done something stupid. Next thing you know, you're getting rushed by a fucking big old crowd of Mexicans or blacks, and you get victimized for what one of your stupid ass homeboys did. You know what I mean? So, my story ain't for glorification or any way, shape, or form in that manner. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, sir. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you clearing up any misconceptions, telling the true story, the facts on what happened that day in Pleasant Valley with Mr. Anna Ray Brown, man, one known as X-Rated, and how, man, basically when it all comes down to it, man, some people had personal agendas, but for the most part, business was business. With that being said, bro, you have anything else to say, man? Any shouts out? Anything you want to say, brother?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to all my fellas in Tehachapi, A-Yard holding it down, man. My compadre Red Eyes, and my boy Monster out there in Kern Valley from Saul, and just the fellas out there just holding it down, maintaining, man, and doing what's right. Stay righteous, bro, because that's all you can be, bro. Just be a righteous individual, and that's all I teach and preach, bro. And just those try to be productive, and those out there that are gang banging and think it's cool, get a fucking job. They don't want to tell you don't get a job. Get a fucking job, bro, and work hard for your family, because that's all we got at the end of the day, brother.
Most definitely, man. With that being said, man, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you guys get everything that you want coming to you. That's called hustling. Remember at the end of the day, man, this is just a stories told by real guys that have been there on real yards doing real things at that point in time. But at the end of the day, what's real is real. What the homeboy said right now, go get a job and do something for your family. I hope that the raza unites, north, south, and everyone in between. And at the end of the day, that's what we push for: the gun, bang, bang, and in
Yes.
that
Shout
fashion.
out Snoop. Shout out Snoop and Nano.
There you go, brother. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
Love you guys.
All
All
right.
right.
Bang, bang.